There, so now I'm recording this. Okay, so we're going to look at your profile and I'm going to give you some feedback on it. Okay. So, and this is, and I guess the context of what we're doing right now is that we're trying to see whether your profile is clear on who you are and what you're trying to do. Is that fair, Laura?
Yes.
Okay, so let's do that. So I'm going to pretend I don't know what's going on. Oh, here's Laura. So looks like Laura's looking for a job. Okay. Are you looking for a job?
Yes.
Okay. So that's the first thing I see, that you're looking for a job.
So what's your perspective on that, Bobby? Because I've read that a lot of people, including an article from somebody that left LinkedIn, said it's not good to put that open to network out. It looks desperate. Other
Yes.
people say it, the other people say no.
Yeah. So what I would say to this is that yes, there is differing opinions among LinkedIn experts around having this there or not having this there. The truth is, I think that whatever helps you get to your objective, if it works, then use it.
Right.
So if your target audience, it's all about your target audience. If your target audience is not into the "I open to work" hashtag on your profile, then I would remove it. If they're fine with it, then leave it as is. But that's why it's so important to know who your target audience is and what your objective is. When it comes to anything we're doing here, and this we'll get to this in a second, but number one, get clarity on your personal brand, who you are, what you're all about, why people love you, why they want to work with you, what they experience with you, what's your target audience, and what's your objective using LinkedIn or digital media. So whether it's Twitter, Instagram, whatever it is, and then we put together the strategy for that. That said, it looks like you're empowering change and leadership. Okay, leadership, organizational development. Okay, great. Um, I mean, a lot of this is kind of redundant, to be honest. You say leadership and organizational development, then you say learning development again, measurable growth, transformational. I mean, it feels
Right.
some of these things are the same. So one of the things that would be nice to have is when you think of your target audience, how do you help them specifically? What kind of outcomes do you create for them? So, for example, I might say, I land you a TEDx talk guaranteed. Now, I might say that specifically because that's exactly what I'm going to do for people. And they're like, whoa, wow, okay, let me learn more. Let me contact this guy. Right. And
Yep.
so that's why it's good to have what kind of problems you solve or how you actually help your target audience. So that to me is an opportunity. Um, and then we go down here. There's no highlights in your section, which I think is a miss. You have activity, which is great. I'm glad you're creating stuff. You have you have about section. Okay, some good stuff here. Interesting stuff about you. Yeah, that's good. Um, and I think one of the challenges for you is that you do a lot of things, right?
Yes, that's a huge challenge.
And so how do we then share this in a way where it's really clear what you're trying to do? Because when we look at the kind of job you want, so what kind of like you're a teacher professor. None of that's up here on the
Okay,
on.
because I'm going to explain why.
Okay, sure, go ahead.
Okay. So if someone told me if I wanted to target corporate if you scroll down, you'll see Dowling Educational Services. I lumped the curriculum design, instructional design, SME, adjunct professor,
Yeah.
because I teach at 3 different universities:
Hmm.
Temple University, Goldie Beacom, Gwynedd Mercy.
Hmm.
Um, so that was the recommendation, because the the experience section gets extremely lengthy.
Right.
So I was told to take off Penn State, Temple, Goldie, and Gwynedd, and group it under the Dowling Educational Services if I'm targeting the corporate space.
Okay. So my general take on this is that if your headline says adjunct professor at 3 universities,
Yeah.
what does that tell me? It tells me that you're a smart person and you're an expert in certain areas. And I think that's good branding, right? Because not can everyone be a professor? No. Has everyone got a TED talk? No. So I would put it in there. It doesn't have to be the beginning. It could be at the end part, right? Professor at three
Okay.
universities. I think that's quite compelling. It's one like it's me when I say 5-time TEDx speaker or Inc. magazine top 100 leadership speaker. People are like, oh wow, that's really cool. It's cool branding, right? So I would actually put it in your headline. That's my take.
Okay. It's two universities, one college. Um,
That's fine. You could just say professor at three schools. That's fine, right?
okay. Okay.
Professor typically means post-secondary, so it's not like it's high school, right? So you say a professor
Right.
at three schools, boom, I get it. She's a smart lady, knows her stuff.
Okay.
She's in fact she's so good that three different organizations want her. Now I want her more.
Okay. Is that appealing to the corporate space? Even
Sure.
though prior I have a significant experience in healthcare operations in the corporate. Am I going to look like a crazy person?
No, I mean if you position this in your story that look, this is what I do, this is how I help organizations, this type of work I'm looking for, and then you add to the brand that you're a professor of three different schools, that's great. I think that's good for your brand. To me, it's credibility, right?
Okay. Okay. So stay with me here, Bobby.
Sure.
In that top picture,
Yeah.
the I tried to get everything in that in the not in my visual, the
This
LinkedIn
one,
thing. Yes.
the banner.
Yes. So that's what I do. The driving results are quantifiable results. So if you look down in my profile, there's some pretty solid numbers that I was able to drive. But here's what I do. I go in, I look at an organization from a holistic perspective. I figure out what needs to change.
Yeah.
I work with people through training and education to create the changes I need in the culture to get them on the winning side of producing the financial and operational goals I need to meet.
Mhm.
That's what I'm trying to say. And that requires strong leadership. Requires strong ability to analyze the organization, but it's very much culture oriented and learning and development. I'm training people everywhere I go how to deal with change, how to deal with negative emotions, how to manage stress. I've done it repeatedly over the course of my career.
Mhm.
So it's hard for me to say, if you take me and you put me in one spot in learning and development, I will suffocate because I need to have a wider scope. So I don't even know what the term for that is, but I feel like what's up in that top thing is close.
Mhm. Tanya, what do you think?
Yeah, well, I'm not sure there is a title for what you've just described. So,
Right.
Okay.
organizational change leader. I don't know.
Well, I
I
do
mean,
have organizational.
my general take on this is that it's pretty generic, Laura.
Okay.
Inspiring leadership, driving results. Like these are like things we say on our resume, right? But how do they really stand out? I mean, this is what I do too, right?
Okay.
You and I have very different jobs.
Yes.
But I would argue that I empower change and I inspire leadership, I cultivate growth, and I drive results. Boom, I do that. So how are you and I different?
Okay. So are you saying, let me stay with me here, Bobby.
Yeah, I'm with
I,
you.
I do this in two arenas, healthcare
Yeah.
and higher ed. So is that what you're saying by be specific?
Well, no, what I'm saying is those four bullet points, I do the exact same thing.
Okay.
So it's not clear. Like you could be anything when you read that stuff. I preferred when you like the last part, the connect the dots to improve performance. Okay, that's pretty good, right? That's not bad because now you're basically improving performance in organizations. I can kind of get behind that. That's a more specific thing than driving results and cultivating growth, inspiring leadership. Those are very, very broad terms. When you explain to me how you help organizations and businesses,
Uh-huh.
that's more interesting, right? You share with me, and when this replay share with you the transcript, we should find out exactly what Laura said about what she does. That's more interesting to me. That's more specific.
Okay.
right?
Okay.
You described exactly what you do for organizations and teams. That's what I want to know. And that's what I would put here. The other stuff, inspiring leadership drivers, well, that's all stuff that happens regardless.
Okay.
But I think also your niching should be up there too. Like you said,
Yeah, I mentioned the two things.
healthcare and higher ed.
Yeah.
Those are two specific areas that are going to be attractive to those in those areas, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Agreed.
Got you. Okay. And then the rest of the stuff is BS. Get rid of it. Underneath the
well, I
profile.
mean, listen, you can have if those are your four core values of what you do, maybe put them in your about section. But in terms of your banner, no, I would actually put more about what exactly do you do to help people. And I think that describing what you said before, I think that was more compelling to me than anything else. And to Tanya's point, adding in the two areas which you help people, that's great, right? So I might say, I help C-suite leaders land a TEDx talk guaranteed. Now, when I say that, the C-suite leader sees that and they want a TED talk and it's very specific, and now they maybe want to send me a quick message.
Okay. Okay. So I think I understand.
Okay.
I think I understand what you're saying.
Okay. And then your highlight section, there's nothing here. So this is a chance for you to show people who you are and what you do. What kind of transformation have you done? What kind of things have you... So you have posts and things, but these are things where you can actually add stuff. Okay.
So are you saying take them out of the experience section? Because I did pop some things in the experience section.
No, I'm saying add things here. So for example, there's nothing here in your highlight section. So if we go to your like if we go to your posts, well, actually, I'll show you mine. So I mean, again, you can look at some of the other people who are doing stuff in terms of best practices, but
Okay.
my banner very specifically shows people I am a speaker and I'm going to help you guys, and here are the topics that I cover. Right, that's what I'm
Okay.
focused on. Right, and then my feature section has one of my best articles I did. It's got my newsletter and it's got my my main video of who I am, what I do. So that's the three things that are there.
Okay.
And so, that, and I make that really clear. And these are posts that I had, but I put them up there too. So when you create a post, you can automatically, so for example, if I want to take this post and make it featured, I can go here and I can say feature on top of profile. Not that I want to, but this one I could.
Okay. Got you.
Yeah. Okay.
I got you.
Okay.
Okay. So put some stuff in there.
Yeah. And the other thing I would say is that, again, I'm not sure how, for someone who has a broad range of things that they do, I'm not sure how much work. Again, I always talk about this, but like doing the deep dive work on a personal branding and getting clarity on those things. And the reason why people deep dive into personal branding is because when they do that work and it's validated by their own assessment, the assessment of others, and online assessments, they can start to pinpoint and focus on these are the 1, 2, 3 things that I'm all about, that everyone knows about me, that makes a big difference. I just had a call with a client before this, and he wanted to build his business as a speaker and get a TED talk. But I did present to him maybe diving into personal brand would help him figure that stuff out. And in doing that process, he spent 30, 40 hours on it. But I asked him, was it worth it? He's like, it's the most amazing thing, because he's very clear now. I focus on entrepreneurs who are introverted and anxious. That's my focus. And that's his topics. In fact, that was his TED talk, which he did get. And now it's driving everything that he's doing in terms of his business and his work. There's clarity of who you are and what you do. There's purpose around your why statement, your mission statement, and there's direction on this is the people that I serve. And so I think if you want to dive deep into your personal brand, I think that would be a great exercise. I have a course that, I put out there and I sell it. For the people who are part of the TLB Club membership, I have offered them access to my workbook, not the course, just my workbook. So it just kind of tells them, what kind of steps to do. And I'll show you a little bit more about that.
Is that somewhere I can go get it?
No, I would give it to you manually, but I can tell you
Okay.
that. But I've offered that to the TLB Club members. I mean, if they want to take the full course, they can, but the course is, $1,000. The course is way more descriptive and detailed, but if I can find it. Let's see if I can find it here. Here it is. So I've added a few of the members from the TLB Club that are here. Right now it's Michelle, Leah, Natasha, Catherine, Christy, and Wendy. So if you want to be part of this thing, they're going through the documents and they're sharing, they're sharing their updates and things like that. They work on the personal brand journey that I've outlined for them. Here it is. This is a personal branding exercise book. So you can be part of that, or you can take the full course, and I can
I
take
would love to be part of that.
Okay, there's value in the club.
Yes.
With that, yes, now what is it? I'll go practice music first. Yeah, sorry, it's my son. So let me go to Tanya now. Tanya, what's going on? How can I help you?
Well, okay. So first off, I didn't know who you were until yesterday, I guess.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I just wanted to thank you for doing your LinkedIn audio on gratitude. And it's amazing how many people attended that, because that means to me that you have a following that a lot of other people who are doing the same thing just don't have. And I was blown away, because there were, I don't know, like 30 people there or more. And I was, there is another group that I've seen doing LinkedIn audio, and it was gratitude, and there were maybe 6 people. So I am really impressed that you have the following and you're using it for good, because there's another aspect that could be followed, and you're not doing that. And I love that. So
Thank you. That's great. I mean, I think that a big part of what I do is service, right? So if you're going to build a brand out there, and like I built a brand. I mean, I have 500,000 Twitter followers and I have 46,000 on LinkedIn followers. Like, built that up, which is fine. But I also believe in giving back. And what happens is that I'm also very strategic about the different funnels I have. So there's a free things that I do, right? Then there's a TLB Club membership community, which is relatively cheap. It's $250 a year. I mean, I charge $300 an hour for my coaching, so that's $250 a year, and they get all the stuff that I'm doing. Then there's a higher level of group coaching, which is like singular thousands, and then one-on-one, which is very, very expensive. But people want to work with me in all different areas, and it is strategic. It is a funnel, but it's pretty easy for me to show up to these things and serve and deliver stuff. And I think I do my best to try to be as caring and supportive and helpful as I can. And it's not a competition. A room that has, honestly, if I had a room with 6 people, I would, like, here I have a room with 2 people, and I am delivering as much value as I possibly can, as I would with the audience of 2,000 I've had before.
Right.
Right. You're just lucky that you're here because it's Thanksgiving and no one's showing. Because normally we have 46 members in our group, and normally we have like a dozen people show up on a regular basis. But it's kind of quiet today. So, Laura's celebrating Thanksgiving, but she took some time out and she just got 15, 20 minutes of consulting and coaching from me for free, not free, but, generally speaking, like I'm right here for her. So.
And we get that, there's events that go on during the week, Tanya. I don't get to all of them because I'm working for
you're at 3
jobs. But
yeah, exactly.
I try to get the Thursday at 4. Thursday at 4, there's a Friday at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
And we get the same, coaching. It's Bobby leads it, and there's amazing guests that come in, and the learning is just incredible on a number of different topics. And I will have to say, I have experience with lots of groups. And this one is really unique in that there's real genuine collaboration among folks in the room, led by Bobby and whoever's speaking. We connect with each other outside of this room, and there's additional learning that occurs. So this is a unique group, and I'm, honored to be a part of it. I didn't want him to spend Thanksgiving.
And I didn't pay her to say that. So that was great. Thank you. Thank you, Laura. But Tanya, like, what do you like? How can we help you? Anything you're working on, you need help with, or support, or advice on? I mean, that you're here, and we don't normally we have a train. That's true. We normally have a training session on Thursdays and Fridays because of Thanksgiving. We took a break. So that's. But I left it open as office hours. But is there anything you need help on, or want advice on, or something?
Well, I mean, it's interesting you're asking that because I just had a session with my business coach like a couple of hours ago, and so I have some homework to do from him. And you were just looking at a LinkedIn profile, and I'm like, you know what, that's on my list to do. So there's no
Hey,
point looking at mine right now because it's not where I
Sure.
be.
It's
But
interesting here, and you know what's interesting too is in our membership group of 46 people. So we have a private LinkedIn group, we have a private WhatsApp channel where we share conversations, things like that. So I'll show you a bit of that how that works, and we actually have I think at least 5 or 6 LinkedIn experts. We have 4 or 5 career experts, and we have different functions. We have people who are in change management, people who are in tech, people who are in real estate. And so, for example, here's our latest group. So people are sharing. Oops, people are sharing about Thanksgiving. So there's Natasha with her family sharing a photo of Thanksgiving. And wait, how do I get this? And then I shared a video just to say happy Thanksgiving. There's a Thanksgiving message here. So we share messages here. And then, of course, we have our private LinkedIn group where people can ask questions and ask for feedback and get support from people in the community. And then we share goals and we share wins and we share thoughtful questions. And then every Monday I do a coaching call for the members to help them stay on track with whatever they're working on. So that's something I'm doing. So let's go to your profile here. So
as I tell you, this is not where I want it to be. So even if so,
I thought you said to check your profile. No.
no, because I know it's not where it should be. So
Oh, okay. Okay. So what do you want me to help you with then?
I wasn't. I didn't know that I had to come with problems.
No, you don't have to. Yeah, that's fine. So yeah, no, it's fine.
What I know is that you did an awesome LinkedIn audio,
Okay.
and I connected with one of your members who, because again, anybody who is interested in gratitude, like I'm like, oh man, like these are people I want to connect with.
Yeah.
And one of them had said, oh, you know that Bobby runs this community, right? And I said, actually, no, I don't know who Bobby is at all. It was one of your co-hosts that I am connected with who
Melanie
allowed
or
me to
Roy
even
or
know that
Rachel?
it was a LinkedIn thing at all. Like I wasn't registered for it.
Sure.
It was just that I was on LinkedIn at the time that you were running it. And because I'm a first degree connection of hers, and she was one of your hosts. It showed up on my that not feed, but that other thing in LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And,
notification.
Yeah. So I thought, hey, well, I'll check this out. Okay. And it was the largest LinkedIn audio I had attended. And I thought, well, I won't share on this because there's so many people here clamoring to share.
Yeah.
And but then she, once I connected with her, told me about your network, and she said,
sorry, is this Melanie or Rachel?
This is, let me get my phone and I can tell you who it is.
I'm guessing it's Rachel. Rachel's my co-host, but Melanie and Roy are often on stage with me.
Oh, so who was it? Who I was connected with?
Yeah, who's part of our club. Yeah, I'm just curious who they're referring.
Oh, okay. Well, there's 2 different people. So the person who your co-host was, I don't know if she's in your club or not.
Rachel's in our club too. Yeah.
Okay.
Rachel
so if she was your main, the other person, then she was somebody, but it's somebody else that had invited me to this. She said that I can you could show up for a couple of sessions and see if it works, and and all this kind of thing. So that's let me see, hold on a second. But that's the only reason I'm here, because she Michelle Barron
Oh, Michelle Barron. Okay, great. No, the reason I like to know is because actually, people bring in others too, and there's a bit of a referral bonus for people if they bring them in. So I always like to keep track of that type of stuff. So, if people join our club and sign up for the annual membership, then we give them give that person a little bonus referral. So, no, it's great. And yeah, I mean, really, the point of the first meeting is just to get to know you better. So, why don't you share a bit about yourself? Like, what exactly do you do, and what are you working on?
So usually I introduce myself as coming from the unceded, unsurrendered territories of the Algonquin and Anishinaabe peoples. So that is should reveal a little bit about who I am and what I stand for. Although most people won't even know where that is. So it's worth clarifying that right now it's known as Ottawa, Ontario, Canada,
Right.
which so most people don't know that the capital of the country is on stolen land. Anyway, and I don't know if Laura is aware of Pat Lencioni, who is out of Lafayette, California, who has a company called the Table Group, who has been out there for about 27 years or so, improving the organizational health of companies. And I've been a follower of his for, well, he wrote The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team.
I know him well.
And I was part of his Kappa Pro community when he launched that in 2021, before it was dissolved in 2022, I guess. And the reason he even had that thing at all was because he realized that he and his little team can't impact the world at the rate he would like the world to know about these ideas. So,
is that still active?
The Kappa Pro program? No.
Okay.
No, he, I mean, it was great while it lasted, but it's not a thing anymore.
Okay.
But I'm very grateful that I was part of it while I was. And that, yeah, I think you and I are in the same spheres, trying to help companies to become healthier.
Yeah.
But my niche is in our environmental companies, because I am very interested in companies who are doing good for the environment. Because if we don't start changing the Western lifestyle and to become more conscious of our impact on the world, all these storms, forest fires, floods, droughts, you name it, are only going to be increasing. So yep. I would like to support environmental companies. I don't want organizational dysfunction to sink those companies, because toxic cultures can sink companies.
Yeah.
And I don't want those ones to fail. So, because they are helping, us do good in the world. So that's my main mission out there, once I get myself sorted out. So there's a little bit of sorting out yet to do, but once I do, then my LinkedIn profile will be the next thing on the hit list, and then I'll hopefully be in a better position to start serving environmental companies.
I love your passion, Tanya. I mean, do you do any videos about these things you're talking about, like the way you did just now?
I run a webinar series and on LinkedIn, and so I've expanded it to LinkedIn Live. It's on Zoom, but I definitely have realized, well, again, I'm a little torn, because I've been told the importance of video and all this kind of thing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I am conscious of those videos sitting on servers somewhere in the world that need an extraordinary amount of power to be able to have in their RAID 5 configuration all of the cooling that they need. And, fans are running all the time, drawing power. It really, really hit me. Well, I mean, it hit me when I was probably 11, but I mean, it hit me really was it last year, when Pakistan had suffered tremendous floods. And I just thought, that's my Google Photos that's doing that. And I'm like, you know what? This is ridiculous. Pakistan has contributed this much to climate change. my lifestyle has contributed this much, you know, and this is pathetic. People who are suffering the consequences of my lifestyle haven't done anything to deserve this, and I don't feel comfortable with that. So I am doing everything I can to change the way I'm living so that can be reduced.
Are you okay with using LinkedIn servers?
That's the thing, you know, like, it's,
I guess the question I really should ask is, you know, when it comes to talking about climate activism and let's say supporting marginalized communities, Indigenous people, BIPOC people, things like that. I mean, there's also need. Sorry, it's my daughter. There's also need to get the message out. So find that balance between getting the message out and impacting change versus overcoming any sort of guilt we have about those things. I think it's important to understand what are the avenues where we can get the message out there. You know, one of my best friends, she's a very strong climate activist on the West Coast in BC, and you know she's really big on it. She sits in a tree for a week to stop them from cutting down trees, but you know she's using social media to get the word out.
right.
Her particular avenue is Twitter, actually, and even though Twitter's full of a lot of negative stuff, the progressive voices are there because they're getting some impact, and she's getting some impact of what she's doing. So, you know, it's important to kind of find that right balance. Talk to the people who are activists in those organizations and see how they, you know, get over the mindset piece. Because, you know, it's thought leadership I have a model that I teach everybody in the club, which is, and there's 5 aspects. The first one, the foundation, is mindset and confidence, because all of us have these issues around mindset, right? And so, you know, I think that hearing you just now, you're a very, very passionate speaker. I would love to see, you know, a short video on you taking on different topics and getting the word out there, because that's where you're going to have way more impact, I think, than just you know, look at your posts and you share articles and things like that. But
so I've ramped down my LinkedIn posts huge time once I got the message. Do you own your content? Because for a long time I was opening up LinkedIn and typing, and I have learned don't do that. Like, because, you know, one day LinkedIn could change its policies. It's allowed to, it's a private company. And don't sell your soul over to a private company. Don't give all of your content to something like that. And I've taken that message to heart. So I am, you know, henceforth going to, when I post on LinkedIn, I'm also going to own that stuff somewhere else.
Absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, what I recommend everybody is, you know, start with your own content, right? And you can put that on your own website or wherever you want to host these things, right? And then you can put it wherever you're getting traction. So what I'll do, for example, is I'll make a video. Now, what I'll do is I'll make a video for 1 minute and I'll natively upload it on LinkedIn because it gets better traction. That way my message gets out there.
Yeah.
I'll take the exact same video and I'll just redo the exact same thing on Twitter and Instagram. But eventually I have it on my website, right? So, and that's the place where I store everything. And that's why I'm able to own that. So sorry, my daughter came home. So that's kind of what I would do. But, you know, I don't want, again, I don't want those worries to prevent you from getting your message out there, because I think you're very passionate and the people need to hear the message. That's my general take. I mean, it's a general strategy, but
yeah, well, thanks. So you know, so I have it on my website. So my website has been my albatross for a couple of years, and I'm slowly getting out of that particular hole. But that is still something that I knew was holding me back for, well, years. Also, this whole money story thing, but that's a whole other thing. Right. But
yeah, well, we typically have lots and lots of issues. In fact,
yes, exactly.
One of the things I can tell you, the people in our community, they're diverse. They're all over. There's people who have very, very successful businesses, but they're here because they like to network with other people. They want to contribute their own knowledge, and they feel and they like to learn from me in terms of the things that I bring to the table. Other people in this group are people who are doing a lot of things, but there's no focus or foundation for what they're doing.
Right.
And then there's other people who are listening, listening, and they're not acting and moving forward. And so I find those are the different types of people that are in our group. And depending on who they are, we try to help them focus, because and that's a hard one, because they keep trying to make everything perfect and then they don't move. And so when we started doing our weekly coaching calls, I remember talking to and Lori made a Christy Klein, and she had 15 things to do. Lori McDowell, same thing, 15 things to do. It's like, look, tell me everything that's on your mind. And then I said, can you just do these 2 things for me by next week? And they're like, yes, I can. Great. Next week, show me. And the next week, like, wow, I got this done. And they had been not doing anything for 15 weeks.
Right.
Because they had so many things going on. So it's, and that was very helpful to them. And I'm the same way too. I have things that I hold back on, and sometimes I ask them for help too. And that's really what the power of community is all about.
True.
Yeah. So
I'm knocking stuff. I am knocking stuff off the list day in, day out, Bobby. I just gotta I gotta get out of this crazy higher ed stuff.
Yeah. So, next steps for us is I'll add you to that LinkedIn group, but you also have to be prepared to do the work and commit to that time and energy to get to it.
I will, if you want to see it, I will send you that completed assignment. That's not my that's not my area. I get stuff done. That's not my issue. It's this targeting and this branding thing is.
You know what, Laura, I can relate to that, because I hung out a shingle very naively, and I had to do a whole lot of learning to get to a point where I was accepting the niching message as opposed to eschewing it, because for a long time I said, no, you don't understand. This stuff is applicable to almost everybody. It was interesting because I really had to think about this. I mean, I have a PhD. I can do analysis. And assessments. I am very sensitive to knowing what the problem is before fixing it. Right? You have to diagnose before you treat. And I am all over that. And Pat Lencioni doesn't do that. None of his stuff talks about diagnosing. And I'm like, he's not stupid, and he's very popular. Why does he not talk about diagnosing? And I came to the conclusion that 99.8% of businesses out there are organizationally, have organizational challenges that he can help with. There are very, very few that are healthy and that don't need his help. So that's where I landed with why this whole lack of diagnosis in his world, and it doesn't bother me. But it really took me a long time to get over but I can help everybody.
Yeah.
That's interesting that you say that. And here's something that keeps coming back in my mind, Bobby. If I put myself out there in one space, I feel like that holds me back from opportunity in other things. Like, one of the things I really do well is build leaders. I do that really well. It's part of who I am. And I don't want to restrict myself, but here's the message I'm getting from today. I'm restricting myself by not targeting on this brand. Is that fair? Got it. Light bulb.
Well, I mean, there's a balance to be had, right? So, for example, I can do a lot of things for a lot of people in a lot of different topics, but the key to my business success has been niching on the 2 or 3 things I'm going to do for people. So it's really important to really do that. I think that, and similar to kind of what you said, Tanya, I'm a big believer. I talked about the people who are running around and the people who are just learning. The truth is, you need to be doing both. Your music practice. Well, you already sang today, right? Mm-hmm. You sang today? Okay, just give me a minute, okay? So personal brand is the same thing. I tell people that you should be out there putting content out there, engaging people, building relationships, showing up on stages, speaking at audio rooms. And at the same time, you're working on the foundation of the brand and the targeting and the niching and the customer avatars and the planning and the strategy. Do both. Some people are only doing the one and not the other. Other people are doing the other and never doing. You do both at the same time, so that as the ship moves along, and even if you, let's say you stray 30 degrees the wrong way, once you have the clear target, you'll go back, but you're already further ahead than the person who didn't do anything. And so it's very similar. And that's why I'd really try to focus on those two different groups that are, stalling themselves. That makes sense.
Yes, it does. It does. It
Okay.
does. I can't wait to look at that workbook because I now spent 12 hours grading assignments. You wouldn't believe it. I'm telling you, one class, 360 assignments I got to grade in 5 weeks. It's insanity. And I designed the course. It's a beautiful course.
We can't
Just
give
loaded with
can't we give
students.
everybody just a B plus and be done with it? Like,
I can't do it, Bobby. Like, I feel like for their money, they should get a minute of my attention for each assignment.
Yeah.
I try to do a good job at that. But I carved out, I'm ahead of the game there. So I'm going to take, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday and do some core work here. So I'll get myself,
okay.
I have a shift by
Sure.
Sunday, Monday.
Okay. And Tanya, anything that, do you have any questions for me about what I do or what the TLB Club is all about, or anything that, we can help you with?
Sure. All of that.
No, so what
I'd also be interested in your story, because I don't, as I said,
sure.
I knew you as of yesterday.
Yeah, so I'll give you
the fact that you're in Toronto, honestly, I'm attracted to that. There is this Canadian thing in there, so.
Yeah, so okay, so I'll give you the basic gist. Grew up on the East Coast, New Brunswick. Went to McGill University in Montreal, and I went the engineering path. While I was an engineer, I was bored out of my mind, so I started a musical theater company, started producing and directing musicals. Grew that organization to 150 people in about 4 years, and then I decided, what do I want to do with my life? So I decided to go into brand marketing after my MBA at McMaster. Did brand marketing for 4 years, and then after that, I was like, I still wasn't fitting in. I still wasn't happy. So then I dove into a personal brand over a period of 6 months, and I discovered 5 key things about myself. I love people. I love diversity. I love persuasion influence. I love presentations and performance, and I love nurturing. And so I decided to become a motivational speaker. Did that for the last 20 years, traveled around the world, 1,000 keynotes across 4 continents, done 5 TEDx talks. And then during the pandemic, I had to figure out what I wanted to do because speaking and events collapsed. So I got into coaching. And so 2 things. I started coaching people on storytelling and thought leadership because people really wanted to learn how to build their thought leadership brands on LinkedIn or Instagram or Twitter or other places. And I had that experience already because I have 650,000 followers across multiple platforms. And then I launched the Thought Leadership Brand Club, and I thought the membership community was a really good thing to be able to do because I'm able to bring all my experience as a speaker, as a digital influencer, as a relationship builder, and as a coach to help people elevate whatever they're doing. And I follow a model, which is, if I can find the model quickly, I could show it to you, but I don't know where it is. But the model is basically the foundation is mindset and confidence. Then we have digital presence and content. We have storytelling, speaking, communication skills, which leads to building meaningful relationships, which builds to personal branding. All 5 of those elements lead to elevating your thought leadership brand. And that leads to lots of things: more jobs, more opportunities, more business deals, more digital revenue, more clients, and more media appearances, things like that. So that's what I do now. And it's fun. And yes. Okay, great. Did you read the chapter?
Yeah.
Okay. My daughter's interrupting me with with stuff. Just give me a couple of minutes, okay? Sorry, just wait a bit, okay? Okay. Sure, I'll do that. So that's a bit of my story. And the video that's on my featured section of my profile, you'll actually see there's a 3.5-minute story there where I talk about my journey, but that's essentially what I'm doing. So that's a great video to watch. I think I did it about like 7-8 years ago, but that's kind of what I'm all about. And so, people are my passion, community is my passion. I love what I do what I love, and I definitely love helping people get to that next level. And yeah, so that's a bit about me. Oh, I live downtown. I have 2 kids, a 13-year-old, a 15-year-old. I used to be a super daddy, but now I'm just, in their space. And but otherwise, no. And I've lived in downtown Toronto for ever since I left McGill, so about 25 years.
Oh, so you are looking around at everybody else who is spinning their heads trying to get properties in Toronto.
Well, I never went down that route. I have an apartment. We rent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
wow. Okay.
yeah. So I don't even
Awesome.
have a house. I'm a right downtown dweller. I think I got that from my days in Montreal. I was in Ottawa just last week, not last week, last month for a keynote. I was delivering a keynote at some hotel, and it was like a conference for lawyers, legal professionals, but I talked about networking. That was fun. And what's interesting, now the pandemic's out, everybody wants to do, like, networking is something I used to do 15 years ago, but now it's coming back because people want to relearn. I forget how to network. I forget how to make connections. Okay. And I took my old, I found this, it was crazy. I found this, I found a PowerPoint from like 2012. Just, okay, let me just rehash this baby and deliver for you guys. So yeah, that's a bit about me. I'm known as I'm known as a guy with a sense of humor. I did Second City training. I'm really big on improv comedy. I'm very empathetic. I love empathy. I've got a big heart. I'm a teddy bear. That's kind of, if you can think of Baloo the bear from Jungle Book, that's me. How's that?
Awesome.
Okay. Well, listen, I think we'll probably end the call now, but listen, thanks so much for being here. Thanks so much, Laura. If you have any questions for me,
Thank you.
do you have a question, Laura?
No, I said thank you.
Oh, okay, sure, no problem. And the TLB Club, if you're interested in joining, let us know. The general benefits are, once members sign up, we add them to our Thursday, Friday calls for the training sessions with the expert speakers. There's an invitation to come to our weekly biz coaching on Mondays. There's add to the private LinkedIn group, add it to the private WhatsApp group, and then we'll book a one-on-one call where I can learn more about what you're doing and how I can support you, and I'll tell you a bit more about the other members, and kind of go from there. And you'll also get access to all the previous 100+ trainings that we've had. Some of them have been spectacular trainings from some of the best thought leaders in the world on different topics. And maybe someday you can also contribute a topic too and share with us.
All right.
Okay.
Pleasure to meet you, Tanya. I sent a connection request. Let's connect.
All right. Awesome. All right.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys. Thanks, Tanya, for coming. Thanks, Laura, and have a happy Thanksgiving.
Enjoy your evening. Thank you. Thank you, Bobby. See you, Tanya.
Okay. Take care. Bye.